Week 3 of 30 in 30. So if you don't already know, I'm shooting 30 rolls of film in 30 days. For week 3, I shot everything with black and white film on a medium format camera. So I oscillated between my Mamiya 645 and my RB67. As a result, there are a lot fewer scans from the week, a smaller number of photos to work with. The other difficult thing is black and white. So I don't shoot a lot of black and white. Mostly if I have a black and white photo, it's because I didn't like how the color turned out, or I didn't edit it well, or I'm just lazy. Throw it in black and white. I'm like, all right, great, looks cool. So actually shooting in black and white is a whole different experience. And I definitely have some improving to do for sure. But I thought it could be fun to kind of compare some of the weaker frames with some of the better frames and do a little side-by-side comparison of what I didn't like about them, what I think works about them, and maybe what I would do differently. So let's jump into a few scans. This composition is fine. The exposure is good. It's just, there's a lot of negative space. I think it'd be improved if there was some more obvious subject. I think this is a beautiful photograph. It's balanced really well. The composition is super clean. There's so many nice leading lines and nice right angles. And I love the way the light's hitting the pillars and the front side of this sort of support. And yeah, I think it's beautiful. I also love the pier in general. And, you know, they might be building a new one. So these photos mean a lot to me. I wanted to get these stairs involved, but I thought this was going to be a great photograph. I don't think it is. I think it's just messy. There's no real obvious subject. Your eye's not drawn towards anything. So I took a step in, and I was really digging this frame. I liked the staircase, how the nice sort of sunspot on the bottom. I liked how the frame was, there was a frame within a frame kind of thing of the moon, and then the last second this bird flew through. And so I just got really lucky on this, but I think it's an awesome photograph. I'm super pleased. Yeah, sometimes you just get lucky, you know? This next frame, I just included it because I don't know what the fuck I was doing, and it's so bad. I don't even have anything to say about it. But I just wanted to include it, you know, to show that not everything works. These were taken up in San Juan Capistrano. This frame is very medium. I like the different levels of plant life and the cacti and the palm tree. But it just, I look at it and I think why? And I often try to answer that question with my frames. And I think it's a pretty good guideline. What is interesting about this frame? Why did I like it? Why did I take this photo? I can't answer that for this frame, so I think it's just not that good. I wanted this to be great. I love shooting basketball hoops. I used to play basketball. It was a big part of my life. So I jump at any opportunity, and I thought this was going to be super sick, this hoop in the shadow of this big church, and what's the relationship between basketball and religion, and I just think it's way too busy. The subject, the basketball hoop, is confused by those trees behind it, and then the church behind that. There's there's nothing to focus on, and so you're kind of just bouncing all over the frame, and it's not super strong. This one I like more. This one I like the most. I like the perspective. I like how it feels like the church is almost falling down on top of you. The cross and the dome are framed nicely by those palm trees. I really like the shadows and the quality of the light on the dome. I think it looks really good. And again, this sort of oppressive feeling of the church above you, I think that's an interesting conversation, probably not best had on Instagram. Moving on, I really like the idea of shooting the skate park. I'm just not very good at it. I've never really had success. This set is okay. I think I'm, getting better. I really like the shadows in the shot, especially the one of the person skating through the frame on the right side. The top half of the frame, though, I think is just messy. I really liked this rail, but it lacked like a human element to it, which was solved with this frame. But again, I wanted just like a little bit more interaction. I didn't really like the setup. This feels very busy on sort of the upper right hand corner and then nothing else anywhere. And also, I guess it's a rule in skating that you're not supposed to shoot people's backs, but like, whatever. I don't like rules. Then I walked around and I saw this setup, and I really, really liked this one. I like, how it's sort of cut in half by this rail. There's dark on the left and light on the right, and it leads your eye to the rail, and those two trees in the background are nicely framing it. But again, I thought it kind of lacked the human element, which was solved by this frame. So I really like this. There's certain little things that I might change about it, but I think in general, it's a pretty sweet grab. Like the skater is perfectly between those two trees, perfectly lined up with this rail in the foreground. It just like leads your eye right to him. So I think this is pretty cool. Then the rest of these shots are just stuff from the roll that I really liked. The black and white was definitely an adventure, but it gives you this sort of feeling of like fine art on shit that's really just pretty banal. And that's like a fun hat to try on sometimes. Next week 4, I shoot a bunch of really cool portraits with some local friends in town. I put out like I want to work with a bunch of people on Instagram, and so many people responded, which was really fun. Definitely the most that have ever like responded to one of my Instagrams. I also shot some flash on that. I pushed a few rolls. So I'm really excited about those rolls. Obviously, March is over, and so I'll post the last week 4, next week, sort of recapping the rolls and then the project at large and kind of what I thought about it and what are some of my takeaways. So tune back in a week from today.